Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. Okay, so my sound is messed up again. That's right. Aha. Okay. That's a little bit better. I can hear myself. Somebody messing with the microphone. Okay, well, we have some news today, don't we? Let's see, what do we got here? Yes, so in 10 minutes we got GDP. So, I'm not going to go too much into the charts, but basically we're still range bound, right? Yesterday, we're kind of in the same thing, although yesterday we were kind of looking up before, and now we're kind of looking down. But we're still within the range, essentially. And E-mini has been moving up. Had an okay day yesterday, and it's having an okay morning this morning. Kind of interesting given how negative things were before, but market seems to be just like shrugging it off now. So it's good, I guess, but it makes me a little uneasy. Markets, it acts like irrationally. Is the only way I can put it. Okay, so yeah, we got here the open. There's been a bunch of selling going into the open. Here now that we have the open happening, a little bit of volume also selling. So that's what we got. I'm gonna post the links. I got a little bit of food and run the squawk here. And yeah, we will get this news in 10 minutes.
Pantheon macroeconomic and upward revisions to inventories construction mean GDP growth should be revised up by a tenth to 3 from 3.5. Reckons the October goods deficit jumped around 80 billion, which was a record from 6. From Pantheon macroeconomic data. Aveda Gray says United States proposed several months ago that Mexico become a third safe country for asylum seekers. Mexico refused that proposal. Ten seconds.
All right, so the number that we're looking for is 3.6. 3.6. This could be really violent. Okay, so it was bad.
Quick look at PCE core at 1.5%, slightly softer. Deflator at GDP 1.4. PCE prices prelim at 1.5%.
A little bit of buying, which would be correct, but
3.3%.
not a lot.
Sales prelim at 1.2%. Consumer spending prelim at 3.6% versus 4% last time round. Quick look at wholesale at advanced goods trade balance at deficit at 77.25 billion, from a deficit at 76.25 billion previously.
Okay, so I'm not seeing a ton of volume.
Advanced 0.7 from 0.6 revised. Retail inventories ex auto seen at 0.7 versus a minus 0.1.
So I think I'm going to roll everything over now because it's just not. How did I do this before? I think I come in here and I say ZN. I have to look this up again. They are buying a little bit. Not a ton though. I think I just need to do ZN. Oh, 319. No. It wasn't a huge change in GDP. I'm surprised that we're still 3.6. That's like super good considering that we've had tariffs going pretty much all year now. So, at the very least, tariffs have not harmed us as quickly as many may have thought. I know there's a way to do this, guys. I'm gonna figure it out.
Trading around this data. But just note, Irish Central Bank up online.
Okay, there we go. I'm gonna say that was a pretty disappointing move. Okay, I'm gonna kill the data for a second. I have to restart Jigsaw. I think. Okay. Oh, there they are. There you are. This one is the and the F. I never quite fixed these, did I?
Just be aware, President Trump on the wires at the moment.
Uh-oh. Oh, how come I don't have okay, 333, 333.
America's sovereign rating outlook stable in 2019.
Excuse me. Okay. Bitcoin made quite a recovery last night, back up above 4,000.
Canada's rating is supported by its large and diverse economy and track record of fiscal adjustment. Trump says General Motors will pay back US government bailout money if it doesn't keep jobs in the US.
A fucking man. I'm sorry. And that got me a little excited.
US's high general government debt burden will be outweighed by extraordinary financing. There's outlook on US long-term ratings are stable, which expect growth in North America to slow, but to remain above long-term potential growth rates. Canada's rating is supported by its large and diverse economy and track record of.
I don't actually see that tweet. He must be talking to somebody or something. I was one of those people.
Fitch the Fed Reserve to raise interest rates by 75 basis points next year, taking policy to 3.25% by the end of 2019.
Well, you know what? The liquidity and everything in the front month isn't all that great either. Revo's continuing with odd facts by Revo.
Have to reduce uncertainty over North America trade will benefit Canada. We'll get to hear from share Powell at midday Eastern time stateside. That's 5 o'clock our time today. Includes as to potential rate path end of this year, next year, really more for next year, I suppose. All being build it at 12 o'clock, although some services have it done at 11:30. Up the Fitch report. Mexican Foreign Minister Vidagrey says shutting US-Mexico border, as threatened by Trump, would have incredibly negative impacts on both countries. Fitch says macroeconomic performance in North America in 2019 will remain supportive of public finances and sovereign credit worthiness. Back to politics. And Merkel apparently wants to meet Trump at G20. Rhanisha.
So is it saying that on the front month that they just simply didn't trade those prices? I think that's what it means. The E-mini is definitely not trading very much on that one, is it? I mean, the liquidity over here is pretty close. It does seem like some of it is rolled over. It's just I'm going to guess that it's going to continue to be really crappy until Powell speaks. So I don't know if we're actually even going to make any trades today, guys. I was kind of looking forward to the whole GDP thing, but it just doesn't look too interesting, does it? There's 270k more volume on the Z contract than the H. Yeah, I didn't look at which one was actually trading more volume per se. So let's pull up the tool. Let's just pull up the tool. Find it. Oops. Okay, so we go to interest rates and we say pace of roll. And then we remember that it doesn't work in Brave because, you know, they don't like privacy, apparently. Rates, pace of roll. Oh, jeez. I already put this in, but. Okay. So this is the 10-year, and it says that we have about 40% still trading on the old contract. Excuse me, let me blow my nose.
In low of the day here ahead of data later on today. And this is sending dollar CAD to 5-month highs here at the moment. Aussie CAD buying seen as well as lower oil.
Anyways, that's kind of weird. I can only hear myself in one ear. It must just be because my ear is plugged. Anyways, that says to me that they're pretty close to rolling, but it does look like they slowed down a little bit here, didn't they? They're actually rolling over slower than normal. Isn't that what that means? Am I reading that wrong? Yeah, I guess I picked a good week to mess around on other products. So if it was average, then we would be down here.
Then the Mexican Foreign Minister says shutting off the border between US and Mexico is not very viable. Two countries should find structural solution to Central American migration.
Okay.
Structural, then go back to the wall. Trump.
I think what he means is we need to fix these countries or something. I don't know. Here's the problem. Everybody keeps talking like, well, if these other countries weren't having so much trouble and everything, they wouldn't all want to come. No, they're still going to want to come over here because they're primarily coming over here for economic reasons. And the United States, for the near foreseeable future, is going to be the largest economy. People are going to want to move here. That's just the way it is. If you let everybody come, and you know, and I'm being like extreme here, right? But if you let everybody come, that the country can't handle that many people. So they're you got a problem longer term. You're gonna have to just defend. You have to set up some rules and hold to them. I don't understand why. Whatever. I'm the kind of person that I say, here's the rules, okay, and then you follow the effing rules. And everybody wants to say, oh well, we know what the rules are, but we don't really like them and we don't really care, so we should just let people do whatever we want. And it's not how it works. Like, if you go along with that, you don't have a country anymore. I'm getting too political. But there's not much else to do. I mean, like, look at this. It's just ridiculous. Ridiculously slow. And I don't see it getting better. I really don't. I really don't. Not until the E-mini opens. So we got a good 30 minutes of nothing. Not as many people on Twitch. Yeah, I had a lot of people yesterday on Twitch, but we got one viewer today. So I'm wondering. We can set this up a little bit better. Okay, so first of all, instrument lists. My okay. Then we say just duplicate a new tab and add instruments, mine to select all. Okay, so we got that. Hmm. I thought I was getting better, but now I'm kind of starting to think I'm getting worse. I don't sound too good, do I? Okay. Next. Oh, which one is the active workspace? Okay. Open. I'll like that. So let's open up this one back up again. Okay. And let's open up back. Yay! So many windows. Oh my gosh, it's amazing. And we'll just change this one to be, no, different month. Or, no, what do we call it? Oh, yeah. We have to do this. Good thing Jigsaw starts and stops really quickly. Okay, so I'm just going to close main for a second. Let's have the back. Okay.
Okay. Then coming out of Daimler and Russia as well here. Daimler China chief sees happy with current set of companies Chinese joint ventures. Russian economy minister long-term economic forecast until 2036 expects ruble to weaken gradually. Again, Daimler's China chief says confident car maker will meet China new quota for 2019-20. Kremlin on the wires there. Aide says Putin and Trump will talk about strategic stability. Buenos Aires this week. Again, still on according to Kremlin. They to discuss US withdrawal from INF arms treaty, Syria, Iran, and North Korea. They may well talk about Ukraine in Kerch Strait.
I would hope so.
They also like
Good
to talk
grief.
about ways to get the bilateral relationship out of deadlock. And on the reports that Trump may cancel Putin talks, the US should speak to Russia via established channels, not through.
Uh, okay, so they are trading the other one. They're trading the December contract still. See what happens when the E-mini opens up here, though. No, that's not what. Go. Excuse me. ZB. It's this one up here. This one up here.
Major issues still to be resolved, says Dombrovskis regarding the EU-Swiss relations.
Okay. Now the E-mini one, you're probably not going to see a whole lot of volume go through. They switch later and they switch like all at once. Like that day is when they switch it all. Pull up the Bitcoins again. There you go. Okay, so there was a trade down. See, now that one time they traded more on this month. So is it that they're selling this one and they're buying over here because they're getting out?
Energy news now. I'm sure I think it's back before, but Russia's economy minister sees oil production at 545 million tons in 557 million 19, 562 million tons. geopolitics here. You got US has no plans for land-based nuclear missiles in Europe. Covered this earlier as well, but everything seems to merge into one. Just in case I haven't, UK is set to publish then the legal Brexit deal December the 3rd. Still to come today, then we will get the Bank of England with its FSR report and also scenarios, Brexit scenarios. That's at 4:30. They'll be released 4:45. Bank of England's Governor Carney will hold a press conference. Prime Minister May says the full government legal advice must remain confidential. Euro-denominated debt. London Stock Exchange prices 500 million euros for its 9-year. At some 100 basis points over mid swaps.
You okay? I'm just a little sick. I got a little bit of congestion. Multi lots take first profit. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I'm just looking at this, and we're in a 3-tick range, you know. And I know that I've traded this the past. Yeah, no, it's fine. I feel okay. I actually, when I woke up, ugh, like I woke up and I was like to go to the bathroom, and I was like, wow, I must have slept really deep. So I went to the bathroom and came back, and my wife was gone. I remembered, oh yeah, she had to wake up early. So I completely slept through that, which is unusual. And then a kid was in the bed too, which is like, so I completely slept through that. So like I think I had a pretty good night's rest. I don't think that I got in bed at a super early time, but you know, it was good quality sleep at least. So I kind of thought, I would feel a little bit better, and I wasn't nothing in my throat. Um, didn't feel as much pressure, so I thought I would be okay. But now I'm sitting here and I'm like starting to cough up, and I sound gross, you know. So maybe I'm not getting better. I think I always it always messes with me when I do this because I want to like maybe skip a day at the gym or something or take it easy at the gym and then you get this back and forth of like because I tell you what I trade differently based on how I work out. Like it makes a huge difference. If I'm at a really intense part in my cycle, I don't make as good of decisions. And it's not necessarily so much like the quality of the decisions as it is like my ability to control impulses and be like, okay, something's happening. I think I should take a trade here or not. Shut her down, take a hot bath. Well, we're just gonna. I'm not gonna. I don't think I'm gonna take any trades today, to be honest. Not because I'm sick, but like, I'm not gonna be around until the Fed chairman goes, right? Um, and it looks like that's what's going to move treasuries. Maybe. I mean, if I see something really obvious, then we'll take it. But um, to me, at the moment, it looks like we're probably just going to continue to range around here based on what the previous range has been and what the E-mini is going to do when the E-mini opens in 10 minutes. So yeah, we're just going to watch. But I always want to have the recording and everything, right? And I'm not gonna. It'd just be worse if I go back to sleep. And I do because my wife went to work early today. I have to get the kids up in about an hour. Well, at the top of the hour, so might as well keep it going. um, I had another thought. Oh, what was it? The thing. One of the things that's interesting to me here is that the uh, the 30-year continues to be the one that sells the hardest. It's breakfast time. Do you want anything? No, I'm fine. You will bring me something. Or I forgot. You do live here in Utah, don't you? Good morning, JP. And we need to have a get together. There was a little meetup group, and that met a couple of weeks ago, but I wasn't able to go. Kind of like that. Oh, what's going on over here in the E-mini? Okay. That's right, Eagle Mountain. Yeah, you can drive all the way up to Centerville. I tell you what, I live in Centerville and I work downtown. And my gym, because I do a weightlifting gym, so it's in somebody's basement basically, is all the way in Sandy, and the drive is not too bad, especially when I'm just going from my work to Sandy. It's pretty busy during that time of day, but every once in a while, like back when I was single, sometimes I would go down to Provo and meet up with a girl or whatever. And that traffic down there, holy crap, man. It is so bad around Point of the Mountain. I was really shocked at how many people um, travel through that corridor every day. I kind of thought naively that most people that lived in the Provo Valley worked in the Provo Valley, and most of the people that worked in the Salt Lake Valley, lived in the Salt Lake Valley. And you need to build a gym in the garage. I know, right? Well, so this is now I have to tell you my sob story. It's an awful trade, especially that time of day. And when they were doing construction, it was like standstill every day. No, so I want to build a gym in my garage, um, and I have a spot to do it, and I have everything set up, and we have it all planned. But I moved into this house like a year ago, and we still haven't done the yard. No, everyone loves to get on I-15, right? It's the only road here. Anyways, so I don't have a yard yet. So and we kind of have this thing like I have a rock wall in the backyard, and there's no way to get the lawnmower up there. So we hired a guy to add a few more rocks to that wall to create like a little ramp for us down the middle. And then he was gonna, grade everything and put down the grass. And
Right, a full rundown of the
oh, hold on.
company news. The head of the US cash equity opens on their website. Obviously, you've seen comments by President, and again, he's further comments on GM, their share price move. Tiffany's is under a bit of pressure early doors after their numbers were released as well, and there's mentions for Amazon as well as Campbell's Soup and Manor. In terms of events to look for, obviously, Fed Chair Powell gets to speak at 5 o'clock Eastern time today, or at 12 Eastern time, 5 London time today.
So, anyways, so we hire this guy to do it, and they come over and they do a few things like we had a bunch of junk in the front yard. They got rid of that. They were gonna dig a drain in the backyard, and they dug about half of it, and then they just disappear for like 2 months. And I guess the guy said that there was like a death in his family and everything like that, and and so now it's like the start of December almost, and they haven't put grass down, and it snowed. So like obviously we're not putting grass in. So we're like, well, we want a refund, and the guy's like, well, I already bought like stuff. So like apparently he already has dirt sitting around somewhere. So like I'm gonna have to have a big pile of dirt dumped off at my house, I guess, and sit there for 3 months until this is the start of next year when I can put grass down again. And they still have to do like the wall and finish things. So like I had all this money saved up to do this, and we had to give him a little bit of it up front, and it didn't work. Well, I think that because of this, I may end up having to spend a little bit more than I expected on it. So it's just like one thing after another. I would really wanted to be able to start of next year um, put some more money into a trading account or build the home gym. But now it's looking like any extra money that I have is gonna have to go into the yard. So it sucks. What are you listening to, JB? Yeah, let me give you the link for that. But maybe I'll turn it up a little bit if you are finding it hard to hear. But it's a secret link, so don't give it to everybody, right? Everybody loves to get on I-15 and drive slow to help keep others from breaking the law so everyone can go to heaven. Oh, we had to leave for a second, so maybe he didn't hear the rest of the story. Oh, man. Yeah, you tell me when you come back. Oh. They actually are trading an okay amount of volume here ahead of the equities open. Now, it has been the case in the past few days, really, that they've kind of offered things down, and then when the E-mini moves up, they take up a little bit. Take half of the money from the yard fund and trade it so you have enough to pay for the yard and have a funded account. Well, we'll see what I end up with in January. The thing is that I think I kind of told you this story already, but I had a bit extra from bonus at the beginning of the year, so I put some into fund the account, and that's how I get the data. And I started trading it, and I did really good for like the first 3 days, and then the market absolutely completely flipped on me. It was like all of the all, all of the trades that I was taking and I was doing well on were complete losers all of a sudden. So I've learned since then why the market behaves the way that it was, and why, for instance, it behaves here. And there's a couple of cycles that I have to pay attention to. Like when people are opening trades, I've found it's easier to read the volume when people are opening trades versus when they close trades, they're kind of sneaky about it. So that means the beginning of a contract generally tends to have better trading, right? But then there's also like seasonality to it. Like a lot of investors do stuff at the beginning of the year. They don't do anything in the summer. And then you always kind of get that little spike in volatility in like the August, October when school starts. And then you kind of get into this period where it's kind of slow. Now this period this year has been really crazy, but even with it being really crazy, you can see, especially this past week, that they've kind of started to get sneaky again, right? But anyways, so I put some money in and I started trading it, and everything started going badly, and I hit my drop. Not like the account got hit the limit or anything, but I had hit my limit that I said, like, if I lose more than 16 ticks, then I'm gonna stop and reassess. So that's what I did. So, and when I reassessed, I also kind of said, you know what, because I did it with like only 1,500, and looking at it now, I'm kind of like, really well. First of all, I think that to be successful long term, you have to have something in your strategy about the seasonality, some way to determine when you're more likely to get range bound trading versus trending trading. So now I have that component. I think I could maybe start trading it again, but I want to see how I do in like January. Um, so that's the first thing. But I think I'm kind of there. We'll see how I do, but I think I'm kind of there. And then I think I would need like 5,000. I would need more room. Preferably like to trade two contracts. I've been practicing with two contracts. I don't know. It hasn't been particularly great so far. That I think it needs more practice. And the thing is, and there's another thing we got to keep in mind, right? I got this Bitcoin thing, and the Bitcoin thing is fucking awesome. Like, every time that I'm kind of like, I don't know, guys, doesn't seem to be doing what the model says it should be doing. And it's always like, you know, when you give up hope, because I post on the Patreon every day, but like especially like 2 weeks ago, I was just like, okay, it didn't do anything again.
30 seconds now from the cash equity open in stateside.
And then, um, I was like, I think it'll do it eventually, but it's been really slow, and maybe if it does do it, it'll be really slow. And then all of a sudden, whoop, everything just kind of fell through. So, and it still hasn't gotten to a point where I can say that I can buy it. But so I also keep, a certain amount of funds in cash so that when that time comes, I can get into that. Well, there's the E-mini going. And see, they offered it down again, especially in this front month. Um, I think that at some point today, you're going to see bears are going to fight back a little harder than they've been. Because look at where we're at on a daily chart. You know, like this is an area that you should see bears start to be a little bit more aggressive, I think. It's kind of like make or break day for bears in a way. Let's check Discord here. Micro JPY. So in the front month, they haven't even traded through one. I'm just gonna pull that one down and you can see that. Very good. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, but the other thing is that I really enjoy trading treasuries. I don't know if it's worth the amount of work that goes into it. Like when I'm doing well, okay, let me rephrase. If we go through and we say, okay, everything in my strategy works out the way that I think it should, and I do really well, um, the amount of money that you make on it with the amount of funds that I have isn't all that much, right? Now, obviously, you build your account, and someday it could be like 3 years from now, it could be a ton. But like in the short term, is it like how concerned about getting that experience, and should I be,
backs up as no threat to integrity of the UK.
And that kind of comes into that whole thing of like, how are you gonna react differently when it's real contracts? But when I was trading real contracts, I didn't really feel like I made different decisions. It was just the market changed. Holy crap. Because so much of what I trade is just habit now, you know? And it didn't change. Anyways, that's my whole spiel about that. I don't think Ace is back yet, but so the Bears have moved us down a little bit, but the overall cumulative delta through this has been higher. I need new habits. Yeah, well, I wouldn't say I'm perfect for sure. The place where I have a hard time, well, I have two things that are hard, right? One is just recognizing when a market is really range bound and not taking a trade, or at least making good trades during that time. I'm of the opinion that in a place like where we're at right now, where there's not really a whole lot of reason for them to be trading and so forth, that it's probably better for me to just stay out. But I just love to click too much, I guess. You know what I mean? It's hard. And then, but then the thing is that I have the problem on the other side too, is that sometimes when it's really getting going, I just become so skeptical, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, I see. Okay, so Dustin did hear it. Okay. Or Ace Trades. I gotcha. No, but like there was many times, especially at the beginning of this big move, like at the start of October, when we started to have some real volatility in treasuries. And I was like, I don't know. It kind of seems like maybe it shouldn't go anymore. And okay, yeah,
The Swedish
they're the same
political
guy. I
news
understood
comes
that
from the
correctly.
Swedish Liberal Party leader saying that they are willing to back the Social Democrats if they accept the demands.
Who was it the other day? They were saying like I have too much of a tendency to fade. One of the hardest things to deal with when you're trading is keeping your finger off the mouse. Yeah, 100%. I'm so much better at that than I was a year ago, but it's still not good enough. It's still not good enough. I mean, well, let's not say good enough. It's not where I want it to be. You know. But that's just kind of me. I have a short attention span. But yeah, it used to be. The thing that's so funny is like back in May, we had a guy in here. Well, he was in the Discord, and he was always saying, you know, you always FOMO into it, and then it flips on you. And he was right at the time. It was like I feel like too many times you feel like you're not doing anything if you don't have a trade that on, and that's not always the case. Well, yeah. Well, you gotta watch it to have a feel for it at least, you know. I think one of the things that screws me up is I think if I see a bunch of volume in there, that that means that there's a signal there and that I should take it. And that's not necessarily the case, you know? It's like I need to see something in the volume that leads me to believe that there's a very high probability that it's going to do something from there. Those are really those tend to be more when we're trending. That's why I do better when we're trending. When we're range bound though, that's when it's like okay, so we're trending. I can see here's a spot that we probably shouldn't trade into, and they traded into it really hard, and I buy there, and then it goes a couple more ticks. Like that kind of happened a little bit yesterday, didn't it? And that second trade worked pretty well. But then when it gets range bound, that's like the worst place to buy.
From ECB's
It's the
Liens,
worst place
some
to buy
interest
when it
rates
gets
will
range
be
bound.
higher. Radcar will be prepared as can be for a no-deal Brexit.
Because what they do is they know they're much smarter than me, and they know generally what kind of business they're going to get that day and whatever. And so they know, oh well, it's a slow business day. So what we're going to do is we're going to make it seem like that something big is happening so that all of the retail traders buy, and that will give us the fills that we need, and then we can take it the other way. That's exactly what they do.
From Radcar, don't believe a no-deal is likely.
And how do you know? For me, it's in some of those trades, it's impossible to know which one it is. Is it going to be the range bound day or the quiet day? But I have found some things that give me a reasonable idea about what kind of a day it's going to be. And since I've done that, I've been much more consistent. Like when I'm not doing well, I'm mostly just break even. And then when I do well, you know, I make a little bit. You still make mistakes though. So that with the mistakes, you're still negative. But like yesterday, when I took that trade like right out the gate, probably, and you know, it went the other way, and I didn't cut it off soon enough. That was a mistake. Those are the kind of mistakes that I make now. This one, like, I am a little tempted to buy it here, but I think the mini is going to continue to be a little volatile here. Well, they are hitting into 119. I don't know. I think for me to buy it, I think I would need to see the E-mini gives signs that it's scared. We only have 20 minutes, so maybe we're just not going to take a trade. So there is a potential flip there. Okay. Like, I'm thinking maybe you could buy it at 0.5s in the March contract.
Of equity news now that Danske Bank have been preliminarily charged by the Danish state prosecutor by Denmark on money laundering.
The E-mini is turning down a little bit. Okay. They ticked it down there in the 5-year with quite a bit of volume put on top of it. Yeah. Now they're holding 23 on the downside in December, yeah. Where is relation to yesterday? I mean, so given the context, I think that I would prefer to be range bound. Or not to be range bound, but I would prefer a range bound trade, right? So this is the right spot to do it too, and it's the right direction. The E-mini is not quite cooperating yet. You see that they're actually making a new high of the session in cumulative delta, even though they're down a little bit. It seems like this 2700 level is some real resistance for them. They're pulling a little bit too easily at evens as well. It concerns me. My working strategy when we're really range bound is you've got to be cautious when a price pulls. Because
Picking up on a tweet now from President Trump, the reason that the small truck business in the US is such a go-to favorite for many years, tariffs of 25% have been put on small trucks coming into our country.
what? The reason that the small truck business in the US is such a go-to favorite is that for many years tariffs of 25% have been put on small trucks coming into our country. It is called the chicken tax. If we did that with cars coming in, many more cars would be built. Oh, he's saying the reason why we build trucks here but we don't build other cars is because there's a tariff. I don't know if that argument makes sense to me, but okay. I'll be honest, a lot of the things that Donald Trump have been saying lately have kind of been like, what are you talking about, dude? So I got two things going on here keeping me from making a trade. One is that the E-mini continues to buy in cumulative delta even though we're like at the low of that range. That might be a sign that they're about to break. But that's the thing. And then number two is there is a definite resistance here at around 25 quarter, 25 half in the 5-year. And then the third thing is that if I was going to go long, I would really want to do it at evens. Okay. There's a pretty big bid there, but there's a pretty big bid below us in the front month as well. At 0.25. And there's that big one in the 5-year. It's kind of telling us the larger range. Nothing like that in the March contract, though. And it's going to snow in Utah. It's the same. Wednesday. Thursday. And Friday it's going to snow on the valley floor. So I'm supposed to go, supposed to be going somewhere this weekend. I wonder if we're going to do that if it's going to snow that hard. Because I don't know if you want to be up in the mountains when it's happening. Okay, so a little bit traded into evens, and now they're attacking the O halves again. And the E-mini was moving down there. And a decent amount is hit into 25 half. So kind of a little bit of a support area there in the E-mini, maybe? Why are you looking at March already? Most of the volume is still in the December contracts. Yeah, well, so when I looked at it yesterday, it just it looked like a lot of that they had already mostly rolled over. But then when we looked at it today, they weren't rolling off as fast. So I think what's happening is they're trading the December contract because they're mostly interested in what Powell is going to say this afternoon. Okay, so there's our opportunity to go long if we want. We're still shooting a high in cumulative delta. I need to see that stop in the E-mini. The base, there's so much buying and it's so early, they could well go and bust those highs really easily. Like that, they have some real incentive to do that. I mean, it's on both ways, but there's a real divergence there in equities. Anyways, I mean, I have them both up now, so that I can kind of see, because I felt like, oh, there you go. So they took out that one pretty easily. And they're clearing the 31.5 pretty easily too. I think you might make a new high.
Some stock chatter via Twitter that the Nokia is reportedly in active talks again to buy Juniper Networks, a possible deal valued at $15 billion.
Canada stock, I got money on it. You got money on what?
EC and markets are looking at same models.
Why did I posted like the wrong chart over there.
More from President Trump talking on GM now would not be closing their plants in Ohio, Michigan, and Maryland. Meaning that also the cars that send us cars have been taking advantage of the US for decades. The president has great power on this issue because of the GM event is now being studied now.
Oh yeah, so we were going to talk about that earlier.
This time do you have the US new home sales for October expected at 575,000 against the prior of 553,000, range of 54,000 to 640,000. The month-to-month figure of 4% expected against the prior of minus 5.5%, in the range of 1 to 9.4%. Well, beginning the Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index for November expected at 15, unchanged from the prior.
So I forget what it was that they said
Just
earlier
picking up on
today.
a note now from Wells
Um,
Fargo before the new home sales data. They are likely to have risen in the month. The housing market has been a marked soft spot in an otherwise strong economy. Something here has become even more
yeah,
pronounced recently. They're saying a widely followed sentiment measure for home builders has recorded its largely monthly fall in almost 5 years in November.
new home sales in 10 minutes.
More from Lian saying the rate increases dependent on what demand will be like in the second half of 2019.
So anyways, on GM. So when they bailed GM out, I was a really big Mitt Romney supporter. Um, I'm not so much anymore, but at the time he wrote an article saying let GM fail or something to that effect. You guys remember? I bet you guys probably remember that, if you were involved. You were old enough at that time, which I think pretty much everybody here is. And I still agree with him. And I feel like that what's happening with GM today is like almost perfectly proving his point, because his point was that the company just wasn't a good company anymore. And so they needed to let it fail so that those resources could go to other companies. And what happened? We gave them a bailout. The economy did better and everything, but people still didn't want to buy their cars. My understanding is why they're pulling out is because the cars that they were building there weren't selling very well. Okay, the E-mini did not make a new high there despite that rise in cumulative delta. And Bitcoin continues to rise. It's quite strong buying, in fact. It looks a little suspicious to me in Bitcoin, but I expected that there would be some kind of a pullback at some point, and to come back up to that 43 and fill in that gap would make a lot of sense. So we did come down 2, 3 ticks. Look at that heavy offer in the 5-year. Well, now it could be the other way. If the Bulls are able to make a run here, if the Bears are able to make a run here, you might see all those Bulls puke. I'm old enough to remember when a 1970 Hemi Cuda was a brand new car. Yeah. Well, you kind of live up in that area too, right? Ontario. So they closed some on the Canadian side too, right? Is anybody talking about that in Canada? Yeah. Not only are they close to 16, but there's a ton of volume, or there's a ton of liquidity sitting there too, isn't there? I was just seeing. I don't see it anymore. Where'd it go? I think it was at the 23.7. There was like 4K stacked there for a second on the 5-year, and that kind of made me be like, I don't think we're gonna be going long anytime soon, unless the 5-year like pushes through that or something. A Corvette, brand new Corvette, was $4,000. Really? I can't imagine 4,000. Like I could think like that being in the tens, but not single digits. Wow. I do remember when I was a little kid, gas being like 89 cents for the longest time.
Comment now from EU's Dombrowski. External risks to the economy are mounting.
I remember back when the first time that gas really went up. I was was in Kansas, and I remember like it was around the Hurricane Katrina time, and I remember saying that people won't buy $3 a gallon gas. Like nobody's gonna be able to afford it. And now that's not really all that unusual to get it over $3. A good like 12 years ago. Man, things have changed so much since then. Because at the time when this was happening, I was on a religious mission, and I was for 1 month. My companion was a Spanish speaking elder. So everybody that we talked to was Spanish speaking. And everybody that we taught was here illegally. And we knew how to find them. You could probably put me in any major city in the United States, and I could find you illegal immigrants in a day. It's just really easy. uh, there's things you can look at for your houses to kind of know. And we knew how to find them.
3 minutes 9 to wait. The U.S. new home sales for October again expected at 575,000 against the prior of 553,000. The month-to-month figure 4% expected, while the U.S. Richmond Fed Manufacturing Index for November 15 expected unchanged from the prior.
And it really bothered me at the time because I really felt like, one, that there shouldn't be this many people in this situation. Like, something's wrong with the system if this many people feel like they have to break the law, you know?
Will agree on solution in budget. And that was Italian PM Conte saying that they're hoping the government and EU will agree on solution on budget. Trust a shared solution will come out of dialogue with the EU.
Oh, sounds good. That might explain a little bit of the sell down in treasuries. They're absorbing a lot in the 10-year, though. I'm wondering if they're going to come down to that 03 and maybe stall or turn around there. Anyways, and then it also bothered me that it was like they couldn't get like a real job. It was like slave labor,
More from Conte,
basically.
The government has not made a final decision on the deficit.
And it makes me so mad to see the stuff that's going on in politics today. I'm conservative, of course, but they could fix this. They don't want to. You go in and you say, okay, we're going to fix the border. We're going to have security. We're going to remove the incentives for people to come over here illegally.
Has found European institutions very open to discussion over the budget.
And then fix the immigration system so that you can come over to the United States legally without already having family here. So that it's actually possible for the people that really want to.
Fed Manufacturing Index 14 below expected at 15. The Services Index at 5, while shipments at 12.
Anyways, so there's all this stuff that needs to happen, and they just play games for 8 years.
Once again, the Italian government is still assessing possible
Bothers me.
deficit target.
And then when you go around and you try to actually enforce the laws or the border, everybody freaks out.
10 seconds.
All right. So what's the number we're looking for again? 16 and 583.
544,000
Okay.
for the new home
So
sales. Month-to-month
bad.
minus 8.9%. Again, the US new home sales at 544,000, a prior revised 597,000. Month-to-month figure at minus 8.9% with a prior revised of 1%. Looking at the breakdown, the median sale price coming in at 309,700 was down 3.1% from October. While the single-family home sales down 8.9%, the home sales northeast are down 18.5%, Midwest down
That might be our
22.1%, South down 7.7%, while the West were down 3.2%. The new home supply 7.4 months worth at the current pace, while the homes for sale at the end of October was at 0.336 million units.
that might be our signal, boys. For that, the E-mini is kind of moving up a little bit there. They're encountering some resistance, but that last tick up, especially in the March contract, looked a little interesting. But they're stacking and playing games. Cancel that.
We also saw the new Fed stability report there, citing elevated asset values, possible decline in the corporate credit standards among chief risks. The strong capital positions of bank-tempered household borrowing among current strength, citing trade tensions, Brexit, and other developments among shocks that could trigger particularly large declines in asset values. Business debt was historically high, with signs of credit standards are deteriorating, evidence leverage among the hedge funds increasing. Growth in 2017 surprisingly strong, while 2018 it was slowed down, partly a reversal.
They left a big order there at 94.50. That what it was? Oh, it's not that big. It must have been bigger for a second. I see a little white line. It must have been like 6 when it ticked down.
From Lane saying it's important not to be overly dramatic about a slowdown in Eurozone growth. Which data remains in line with expectations, more from ECB Lane. From the IMF now seeing the Japanese real GDP growth at 1.1% for 2018.
Not doing anything. Well, I thought maybe we had an opportunity there, but now it's kind of looking like if it does happen, it's going to take a while, and I'm probably not going to be able to wait for that.
There will be room for maneuver on final budget numbers after the cost review.
Let's post the notes and then go wake up the kids.
In the labor market.
So these big offers kind of look suspicious to me. I don't know. Oh yeah, it does look like there's some good volume in equities. Okay, this
In
looks
10 minutes' time, we're expecting to hear from
suspicious.
ECB's Priet, who will be chairing a panel session, Investment Finance in Europe, a System Fit for Growth, to the conference on investment technological information by the ECB.
I tried to get a visa to work for the Sheraton hotel chain in Miami when I worked for them here in Niagara Falls, Canada in the late 70s. I wanted to drive down there. Impossible to get an approval to do that without either being married to an American or a refugee from somewhere else. Exactly. You have to be married or you have to have like a cousin or something. Or the company has to have like already hired you or something. And even then it's like hard. I just think the way that the immigration system in the United States works is dumb. And the thing that and this is another case where it really pisses me off because okay, see they might this could be a buy. I'm not going to trade it, but this could be a buy. The granted ZB didn't quite get to where we wanted it to, but I am kind of seeing a little bit of a if they hit into that. It's the very big if, but it could happen. But anyways, it's so like Donald Trump wants to change it to make it merit based. Like, I think it should be like the people that believe in freedom and want to live in the United States the most should be the ones that get to come over here. I have some friends that from out of the country that really want to live in America, because they want to be like the culture and everything, and they can't come, and they these other people skip in line in front of them, and then they want to change it so that it's more merit based, and then like that's apparently an awful thing. Just doesn't make any sense. Anyways, so did they buy through? Okay, 035 was where I saw some stacking, and 500 have traded into it, and it's now 5. So about 500 orders have pulled off. Nope, now they just put it back on. E-mini is falling a little bit. They're not negative yet. They're not even negative on the from the overnight session yet, are they? Nope, they'd have to get all the way back to like 2685. Okay, well, I'm gonna go wake up the kids, so I'm gonna keep this recording so that we have it. But I don't think I'm gonna make any trades. But let's watch that 035.
In just over 10 minutes time, we'll be getting the weekly DOE inventory figures. As look running through the order and expectations, that's crude expected to be a build of 0.769 million. You can see prior build of 4.851 million in a range of a draw to 3 million to build of 3.291 million. Distillate expected to be a draw of 0.857 million against a prior draw of 0.077 million. Range of a draw of 2.3 million to a build of 1 million. Cushing, no expectations there, but a prior draw of 0.116 million. Gasoline expected to be a build at 0.64 million against a prior draw of 1.295 million. Range of a draw 2 million to build of 2 million. Finally, in refinery utilization, 1% expected against a prior of 2.6%. So just looking at the API numbers that came in last night, crude a build of 3.453 million, while distillate was a build as well of 1.185 million, Cushing a build of 1.302 million, and gasoline came in at a draw of 2.620 million. That's more from IMF, warning that US oil tariffs could cut 0.75%.
Okay. I'm back. Let's see, a couple of people obviously turned out because we weren't chatting anymore. I understand. We did not move. I did not miss much, although there is, I wonder, do I have, no, where's the other one? Yes. Okay. So they actually did tick up, and when they ticked up, they just kind of left some volume at 04. So that's not super predictive, I don't think. You could buy it here still. I think that if I had been there at the time, I might have gone long at 04. Let's do this. Blah, blah, blah. You could buy 035. The E-mini has been going lower. I wonder though why we're moving down. Are people making a bet about what the chairman is going to say in his speech this afternoon? Or does it have more to do with the roll? I'm not sure. Where is the... Come on. There it is. Okay. Jeez. Okay. I mean, it's interesting that they touched 025 and they traded through 6K. So that could be potentially be a reversal trade for sure. But granted, there was lots of big icebergs all the way through here, so that 6 isn't necessarily unusual. You know.
Bit of equity news now. Moody's AM cost-cutting initiatives are credit positive. Streaming is now into we get the weekly DOE inventory figures again, just running through the expectations. Crude expected to be a build of 0.769 million. Distillate a draw of 0.857 million. Gasoline expected to be a build of 0.64 million. Cushing no expectations. Mine utilization 1% expected.
It's looking a little better. That liquidity down at 025 is an awful lot. And considering that the E-mini is almost about to go negative on the session. Okay, well, we're gonna give this 2 more minutes and then I'm gonna shut it down.
Comments now from U.S. Secretary of State Pompeo. Degrading the U.S. ties with Saudi Arabia would be a mistake for the U.S. national security. It's 1 minute now until we get the DOE report.
FBI and Mueller team coerced 72-year-old Jerome Corsi to undergo regressive memory therapy techniques during interrogation to remember a meeting with Russians in Italy that Corsi was adamant never happened. So I'm kind of getting the impression that Mueller is positive that something happened with Corsi and Stone and WikiLeaks, and they can't prove it. Like, somebody said that it happened, but there's no evidence that it happened.
It's a build of 3.577 million, with the distillate a build of 2.61 million, Cushing a build of 1.177 million, while gasoline a draw of 0.764 million. So again, that was crude stocks coming in a build of 3.577 million, distillate a build as well of 2.61 million, Cushing a build of 1.177 million, while gasoline a draw of 0.764 million. The refining utilization coming in at 2.9%, being expected at 1%.
Yeah, the problem I have here is even if we had gone long at 035, which is where we were talking about doing it, and we had made 2 ticks, maybe potentially 3, but like, where do you take it off? Obviously, there's always the VWAP, and there is this big order here in the 5-year, so we could maybe wait for that, but there you go. So there's 3. Sorry, there's 2. It's really okay. So the E-mini just puked. That was a really hard sell there. When they broke that overnight open, they really went through it. The Treasuries didn't really considering they haven't reacted that strongly, considering what just happened in the E-mini. Nobody cares. Okay, guys. Well, it was a nice chat today, but I've got to go. I am inclined to think that it's going to keep going up, but I don't really have any idea how far it's going to go. And I just don't seem to have a very good read on this market in general, so can't really say, but that sure looks negative in E-mini. Anyways, I'm thinking maybe tomorrow will be a little bit better.
From Moody's now seeing US tariffs adding a 0.5 percentage point to inflation.
0.5? That's it? Okay, actually, that's not that bad. So, I think more people will have switched over tomorrow. We won't have this Fed chairman thing hanging over our head, and might even have some after effects from that. So I think we might have some better trading tomorrow. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. So I'll see you guys.